What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Friday, October 13th, 2017. Friday the 13th. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the pure one, at Tim Gettys.
Let Tim host.
How are you?
I'm fantastic, Greg. I got some news for you. I'm going to drop this on you right now. For the first time in a long time, I looked at the podcast numbers of all of our shows.
Sure.
Kind of Funny Games Daily doing exceptionally well.
Thank
I was
you all.
very, very excited about it. We're getting about 30 to 40K downloads a day.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
That is fantastic.
That's one of the things that I think is hard for viewers, listeners, Kind of Funny best friends to understand. Because I love going to the forums, the Reddits, and talking to those people. I don't do the Facebook group that much. But you go there.
People.
No, it's not.
I'm just fucking around.
No, I'm making sure we got to be very clear. I'm not putting down any other groups. I'm just telling you where I actually make time and have time to go to. And it all, like on Reddit especially, there's always like, hey man, it's Kind of Funny okay. Like they look at our YouTube views, they think like, why aren't they growing more? Blah blah blah. I feel what I didn't understand for a long time when we were doing like, well, not even that I guess, but even when we were doing Podcast Beyond at IGN, I never understood how big the podcast numbers were until we started looking at the podcast numbers. And like we are audio only to so many people, which is interesting because I feel, I don't know how you feel, I think of us as YouTube people. We make YouTube content and like the number of podcasts we put out that people only listen to audio wise. Great and awesome. And I'm glad people get the content.
Thank you for that. And I think it's been really helpful that you've been talking about like, oh yeah, subscribe on the podcast services for the different shows because it really does help. Like these numbers are very 100%. Important. And these numbers officially would make us the number 1 daily video game news show.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. That's awesome.
I know it's like one of those things where the more shit you have to add in front of that, it makes it less and less cool. But like, you being able to say, P.S. I love you, the number 1 PlayStation podcast.
Sure.
This is the number 1 daily video games news show.
Well, thank you so much for that, everybody. Of course, this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about before giving you a little bit of perspective, our opinions, answering your questions, and having a good time with you. If you like that, you can watch live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. Of course, we don't look at the chat, though. We're making a polished podcast. Instead, if you want to be part of the show, write in with your questions, comments, and concerns to kindoffunny.com/KFGD. However, if you're watching live, write in to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong with any corrections you need to make. Just corrections. Questions and editorializing, go to the other URL. Of course, we need that because at the end of the show, we read your wrong submissions, set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames or listening on podcast services around the globe. No matter where you get the show, thank you so much for making it a success and allowing to keep a roof over all of our heads. It means the world to us. Like I said, if you like the show, subscribe everywhere. It'd be great. If you're really feeling generous, go over to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Kick us $1 more, whatever you feel like. $1, of course, gets you party mode now each and every Wednesday, 1 week early before anybody else gets to see it. Like I said, huge day. It's Friday the 13th. Right, if you're watching live, we're doing Friday the 13th live stream right after this. I'm very excited. Double XP weekend. Cool Greg and I are juiced. Joey Noelle?
Yeah.
She's juiced too.
Yeah.
Of course, I just won the Kind of Funny World Championship.
Congratulations.
You did. There it is. I'm wearing it right now on the show if you didn't know.
I was rooting for Cool Greg.
I was too.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that it's a serious belt here. We don't fuck around.
No.
There's no storyline except for Kind of Funny Live. That was
storylines.
But in general, it's like, no, you're playing to win.
Yeah.
All right. So I want Cool Greg to get his rematch. He's deserved a rematch. He is the number 1 contender.
I've said this a lot about the WWE games, the 2K ones in particular, in the way that they come out and I usually play them for a night, maybe 2 or whatever, and I want to get into them and I'm interested in them, and it just doesn't happen. And this year with 2K18, I really don't see that being a problem in the way that it's kind of a perfect storm in the way that I'm not watching Raw and SmackDown every week anymore, but I'm up on programming. I know what's happening. I just did the WWE event. I know the superstars that are in there. Cool Greg's excitement for WWE influences me. I watched the pay-per-views. I watched Extreme Rules after the fact on WWE Network because I was like, oh, let's catch up on what happened. And so the fact that he's excited to play it with me means it. And then even the fact Nick just played it, he's like, this was fun. Like, I feel like it's not going to be a takeover like Smash Brothers, but I do feel like, hey, let's do a match. Let's do this.
Hell yeah.
Actually could happen because it is so far an accessible, cool game, right? Cool, Greg?
Hell yeah.
We're super early on in it, but I'm having fun already. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. Speaking of looking forward to playing WWE 2K18, Brandon writes in to kick off the show. I'm throwing y'all a little curveball on Friday the 13th. He wrote into kindoffunny.com/KFGD just like you can. It says, Dear Greg, Tim, Andy, or whoever decided to sit down on camera for an hour. Tim did in his comfy pants. Every time I download a digital game on PS4 or Xbox One, especially one of these games that are 30 to 60 gigabytes, it takes many hours to download. I live in New York with great internet connections, yet for some reason, every time I download games, it takes forever. I've tried researching for tips such as changing the DNS server and putting PS4 into rest mode, but it never seems to help. Games are cool. I want to play them sooner.
Games are cool.
Greg, since you're such an advocate of digital only, do you experience slow downloads? If not, do you have any tips to speed things up? Love the show. Thanks for the great work. All of you do, Brandon.
You missed this, Greg, but games are cool. It's a new catchphrase for Kind of Funny Games.
Kind of Funny Games? Oh, get the cast? Oh, wow. You stole it right from me. Yeah. Wow, right there. Okay, that's fine.
Andy made it. It was a thing.
No, Brandon just said games are cool.
Because he watched Gamescast. Continue.
I don't know if that's what happened.
You missed the episode.
I know. I'm sorry. I apologize. No, I bring this up because I am a huge advocate of digital only. I talk about it all the time and how I do this and that. It's all great. And so many people write in like, oh, I'm in the middle of the country. Brandon's in New York. I don't have the great internet. I don't have this. And I'm always like, it sucks for you. You know, not usually a problem. Last night, huge problem for me.
I'm in San Francisco. I have great internet. Huge problem for me. Unacceptable problem for me.
Usually for me, I guess the way around it is the fact that I just, we get a game code. I redeem it here and I hit up the PlayStation. I'm like, hey, download this for me while I'm at work. And then I come home and it's done. And I'm not paying attention to how long it takes. But even so, last night I was getting shit speeds from Comcast to the point that I had to schedule an appointment for them to come out and look at it. Because I was trying to download WWE 2K18 last night and it kept going from, all right, cool, it's going to be 60 more minutes to now it's going to be 13 hours. Now I was like, and I'm restarting the internet, doing all these different things, fucking around with it. And it was just shitty fucking times.
It's interesting because now that so many games have the install, you just need this percentage of the game download to be able to start, and then you need the rest to be able to do all the features. That's nice and it's cool, but I also feel like it's an empty promise in a lot of ways 100%. Where it's just like, that isn't the experience people should have going to the games because there's always things missing that are key to the experience.
Well, that's what Cool Greg and I did here yesterday. We were trying to download WWE and we finally got to that part and we jumped in and you had like 6 or 7 superstars you could play one-on-one matches, no frills, no entrances, no weapons, you could get weapons, but you can do like extreme rules matches.
That's a cool feature, but I don't know. I feel like there needs to be some way to fix the problem. Now the key is if you can, wired connection.
Yeah.
That makes it way, way, way faster.
Sure.
Other solutions are if you have a PS4 Pro, you can use the 5G instead of the other G.
For me, that's the big thing I think of what's going to help fix the problem, right? Is that the internet's getting great, right? And like I pay for like $250 up to whatever down. And even when it's plugged in hardwire, my PlayStation 4, my launch PlayStation 4 can't do that. And I think that's part of the internals of the PlayStation 4, no?
No, that should be, the wired shouldn't affect PS4 Pro.
Okay.
And also, like, mine is wired.
Yeah.
And because I care about this type of stuff.
Yeah.
All my shit's wired. I'm crazy.
Well, no, I mean, like, my main unit's wired, but I'm doing the dual setup.
But it still takes forever. Like, I was downloading a game last night, and I wanted to play so bad, and it's not even that big of a game.
Yeah.
And still took way longer than it should have compared to my download speeds on a computer or whatever. So I don't have any advice except for plug it in. It sucks, but like if you really want to get playing, just have a Ethernet cord handy if you don't want to have it plugged in all the time.
I also feel like these are the growing pains of where we're at with both the internet and game systems, where I do feel like as we progress up, I mean, like the Wi-Fi card in Pro is way better, and that's the one with 5G and all that jazz. I've never hit the speeds I get on my computer through what I get off my PS4. And I've always assumed that was just the PlayStation 4's compatibility with the internet and vice versa. So I would think as we continue to go down there and tech gets better and better, that'll get there. But as we are trying to build an infrastructure in our country to make it better, there's a million other things going on. Basically, we just need Google to save everything.
I hope.
For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, Friday the 13th, and just October in general. I have 3 items on the Roper Report.
A baker's dozen.
Oh, sorry. It's a good job. You're right. I should have given you room to breathe. But while I was doing the show, 2 more stories broke that you've printed off.
I printed 2 Tim stories. Well,
the Tim Report. The Tim Tam Report.
Yeah.
What's a T word we could use instead of report for alliteration there?
The Tim Times. Like New York Times.
Sure. Okay, the Tim Times. All right. Do you want to start with the Tim Times or the Roper Report?
It's up to you. I don't know. What do you think's more important?
Let's tack them on at the end.
Okay.
So, first on the Roper Report, Mike Laidlaw is leaving Bioware. Do you know the name Mike Laidlaw? Guy who's been at Bioware. I'll read his letter and then explain. But basically, a big wig at Bioware who's behind games like Dragon Age. Hi everyone. Hey everyone. I already fucked it up. First thing I'm misquoting him. Hey everyone. It's with a mix of emotions I'm announcing that my time with Bioware has ended. After 14 years and a chance to work on Jade Empire, Mass Effect, and all things Dragon Age, it's time for me to move on. In my time at Bioware, I've been lucky to work with some of the most talented and hardworking people in the industry. It's been an honor to be part of the Dragon Age team, and I have every confidence that the world we've created together is in good hands, and I'm excited for the road ahead. For the near future, I plan to spend my time reconnecting with all the amazing games and worlds that my peers have created, and I look forward to sharing those experiences with all of you on Twitch and Twitter. To everyone who's taken the time to share feedback and experiences, your amazing cosplays and artistic creations, thank you. You've made my time in Theodos, which is some Dragon Age reference I don't understand, amazing. Your passion inspires me, and I look forward to our next adventure together. Ma Cernanas, which is another Dragon Age reference I assume I don't get. Mike Laidlaw, the Dragon Age guy for a long time, where he's the guy when you do, I should have written it down. I'm not sure what his official title was, but I would always call him the face of Dragon Age. In the same way you would have thought with the original trilogy, Casey Hudson, the face of Mass Effect.
Yep.
That's where Mike Laidlaw would be with Dragon Age. So bittersweet, but also another big Dragon Age or a big Bioware name to leave. You know what I mean? After Casey coming back, of course, but then losing the other Bioware guy whose name's escaping me, kindoffunny.com/you're-wrong. It's interesting to see this shakeup there, but it is also the fact that Jade Empire I played in college.
Exactly.
So he's been there a while.
That's my thing is we're not on the inside, so I don't know, but I take this less as like oh man, BioWare's fucked shakeup there, and more of like a situation like we recently saw with Bruce Straley and Naughty Dog, where it's like he's done what he's done.
Time for a new adventure.
It's time for something new, even if it's time for a break. You know, it's like he just named 3 franchises there that are huge and have had sequel after sequel, iteration after iteration. So it's like I totally would imagine, put money on the fact that it was his time, and congratulations to Mike for
100%. Yeah, exactly. That's one of the main things too. Mike, a long time industry acquaintance of mine, whether it be interviews or something else throughout the career. So fare thee well. Good job. Look forward to his next adventure. Number 2, EA has commented here on the Battlefront crates or whatever. It would be EA. It was over on the Star Wars Battlefront blog or whatever, recapping everything that happened with the beta. Jumping right to the point people care about with these loot crates, though. We know you have a lot of questions about crates and progressions, so we want to clarify a few things, as the complete system was not in the beta and will continue to be tuned over time. There are many things you can earn in the game, including weapons, attachments, credits, star cards, emotes, outfits, and victory poses. As a balanced goal, we are working towards having the most powerful items in the game only earnable via in-game achievements. Crates will include a mix of star cards, outfits, emotes, and victory poses. Players earn crates by completing challenges and other gameplay milestones, or by purchasing them with in-game credits or crystals, our premium currency. So that would be the microtransaction part right there, or the pay to, getting your money out of it. If you get a duplicate star card in a crate, you will get crafting parts, which you can use to help upgrade the star card of your choice. And lastly, you have to earn the right to be able to upgrade star cards and unlock most weapons. You can only upgrade or unlock them if you have reached a high enough rank, which is determined by playing the game. So, they're trying to temper fears, which is good, but also, I would have said this is predictable if you're one of the 40,000 people downloading this show or watching the other 20,000 watching it over on YouTube, right? In the way that, like, people are gun shy about loot crates right now and how this works and pay to win and microtransactions in general. This would have been good to explain in your beta if you were, don't get me wrong, hindsight's 2020. It's out, it's done. This is a great messaging to have in the week as it ends. You know what I mean?
That's true. I also think that, like, not only is this too little too late, I do think that even if they did it on time with the beta, I still don't think it would help too much, because people are on the defensive when it comes to microtransactions and loot crates, because it's not the players, they're the majority of the players, they're not the only ones being vocal. It's the people that are going on message boards. It's the enthusiast press sites that are covering this day after day, like us, right?
Yeah.
And so we're gonna look at this stuff, and when we read these blog posts, it's not us going into it like oh, look, they're talking to us. It's us looking into it each line by line of just like, is this enough? Like, why is the wording this way on this? It's like, there's a fine-tooth comb, I think, that comes with it that I don't think would have been solved had they put it out with the beta. Is it good that they're making steps? Absolutely. However, I still look at this and it's just like, and lastly, you have to earn the right to be able to upgrade star cards and unlock most weapons. You can only upgrade or unlock them if you reach a high enough rank. It's like, all right, cool. So you still have to reach a high enough rank to then pay to win? It's like the problem people have with this isn't playing the games. It isn't, oh, if I play the games, I can still do stuff. It's at the end of the day, is it pay to win?
The biggest problem with all of this, I feel, and this is something that we've seen with Shadow of War to an extent, and then now here with Battlefront, is the fact that none of this will be solved. We won't know how big of a problem this is until everybody's playing the real game when it's released.
And when it's released, it's going to happen, and the people that really care and love Star Wars are going to play it, and everyone else is going to shut the fuck up and move on to the next thing they're bitching about. And I think that is a big problem. What's the solution to that? I don't know, because I do think it's important that we still talk about this stuff over and over. They're listening.
Yeah.
Are they acting on it? I don't know, but they're definitely listening. They know that there is a problem. They know that people are upset. So hopefully this means that there's someone at EA, there's someone at 2K, there's someone everywhere that's like, hey, if we just did this, people would complain less. It's a quality of life thing that I think over generations of these games and iteration after iteration of the franchise, it will get better, but then something new will come. We'll have to figure that out and just keep going forward.
Yeah. And that's the thing, it's all got to be experimentation, right? And I think this first wave, this is definitely the fall of the loot crate, the microtransaction invading AAA action games and stuff, AAA games in general. You'll have to see from here on out what people do with that information and where it goes. I think this is a good step. I'll be interested. I'm going to play Star Wars Battlefront, both single player, and I had a lot of fun with Kevin playing multiplayer last time around. So I'm going to jump in and actually have an opinion on this. It will be affecting a game I do, because I enjoyed the progression of Star Wars Battlefront the first time around in terms of, I'm going to unlock this gun here, and I'm going to get this. I'm going to be able to change my fucking head.
Yeah,
I don't want to look like I kept picking the elderly women heads. That's why I wanted to be playing this. Yeah,
that's all you need.
That is my thing. Well, elderly women.
Me, Skywalker.
Number 3, and this is a weird one.
It's
Tim
a very,
Gettys.
very weird one, Greg.
CNN has an article about how the Russians were trying to get us with Pokemon Go and cause unrest in the U.S. I'm going to read I pulled out the Pokemon Go parts of this, but stick with me. One Russian-linked campaign posing as part of Black Lives Matter movement used Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Tumblr, and Pokemon Go, and even contacted some reporters in an effort to exploit racial tensions and sow discord among Americans, CNN has learned. The campaign, titled "Don't Shoot Us," offers new insights into how Russian agents created a broad online ecosystem where divisive political messages were reinforced across multiple platforms, amplifying a campaign that appears to have been a run from one source, the shadowy, Kremlin-linked troll farm known as the Internet Research Agency. A source familiar...
The bad guys from Donkey Kong Country?
You're a monster. You're a monster. A source familiar with the matter confirmed to CNN that the Don't Shoot Us Facebook page was one of the 470 accounts taken down after the company determined they were linked to the IRA. Again, that's the Internet Research Agency. CNN has separately established the links between the Facebook page and the Don't Shoot Us accounts. The Don't Shoot Us campaign, the title of which may have referenced the Hands Up, Don't Shoot slogan that became popular in the wake of the shooting of Michael Brown, used these platforms to highlight incidents of alleged police brutality that, with what may have been the dual goal of galvanizing African Americans to protest and encouraging other Americans to view black activism as a rising threat. The Don't Shoot.us website, in turn, links to a Tumblr account. In July 2016, this Tumblr account announced a contest encouraging readers to play Pokemon Go, the augmented reality game in which users go out into the real world and use their phones to find and train Pokemon characters. Specifically, the Don't Shoot Us contest directed readers to find and train Pokemon near locations where alleged incidents of police brutality had taken place. Users were instructed to give their Pokemon names corresponding with those of the victims. A post promoting the contest showed a Pokemon named Eric Garner for the African-American man who died after being put in a chokehold by a New York Police Department officer. Winners of the contest would receive Amazon gift cards, the announcement said. It's unclear what the people behind the contest hoped to accomplish, though it may have been to remind people living near places where these incidents had taken place of what had happened and upset and anger them. CNN has not found any evidence that Pokemon Go users attempted to enter the contest, or whether any of the Amazon gift cards that were promised were ever rewarded, or indeed whether the people who designed the contest ever had any intention of awarding the prizes. Quote, "It's clear from the images shared with us by CNN that our game assets were appropriated and misused in promotions by third parties without our permission," Niantic, the makers of Pokemon Go, said in a statement provided to CNN. Quote, "It is important to note that Pokemon Go, as a platform, was not and cannot be used to share information between users in the app, so our platform was in no way being used. This contest required people to take screenshots from their phone and share them over social networks not within our game. Niantic will consider our response as we learn more. Again, this is a giant article talking about Tumblr and this, and like I just pulled the Pokemon Go parts here to show what the fuck.
This is horrible.
What a crazy fucking world we live in right now.
This goes so beyond. Like, this sounds like a movie plot.
Mm-hmm.
This is fucking scary that this is something that is actually happening in real life.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're thinking on this broad of a level of how to fuck with people.
Yeah. How to get people to walk up to memorials, you assume, right? There's going to be flowers, there's going to be this, there's going to be people protesting there, and fucking take something as trivial as Pokemon Go and bring it into a, hey, this man was dead, or this person was killed. Hey, this is a police versus, Jesus. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I mean, honestly, there's not much to say.
Oh, there's not much to add.
Because when it comes to the Pokemon Go stuff, it's like, they're not related at all.
Oh, no,
It just sucks that Niantic even has to get pulled into this. Yeah. But, wow. Be good to people.
Exactly. And it shows, I think, again, how, and this is not to trivialize what's happening here, but to show how big Pokemon Go is. That, you know, an outside force wanted to fuck with us, fuck with us being America, fuck with the people anywhere. And what one of the things they choose off of Tumblr and Twitter and Facebook is Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
As a way of like, oh, people are engaged with this. They're going to do this. They're going to walk over to this place and do these things. It's fucking crazy.
Woo.
Tim, what is on the Tim Times today?
Oh, the Tim Times. Number 1. This is hot off the presses right before we got here. Humble Bundle.
Tim Times.
Humble Bundle has been acquired by media giant IGN.
What?
Media giant IGN announced today that it has acquired Humble Bundle, the company best known for selling packs of indie games at pay-what-you-want prices. Terms of the deal were not disclosed. This is potentially a big deal for game developers since Humble has expanded beyond its bundling business to publish games, pay devs to make games for its subscription-based monthly game club, maintain a subscription-based online game trove, and operate an online game storefront. Sorry, this story is from GameSutra.com. However, a press release confirming the deal also noted that Humble will continue to operate independently in the wake of the acquisition with no significant business or staffing changes. It will have some degree of support from IGN, which in itself is owned by digital media giant J2 Global, specifically in terms of accelerating growth and raising more money for charity. Humble grew out of a bundle of indie games sold to raise money for charity in 2010, and in the 7 years since, it has raised over $100 million for charity. In a conversation today with Gamasutra, Humble co-founder John Graham and IGN executive VP Mitch Galbraith reiterated that IGN does not intend to change the way Humble does business. If it's not broken, don't fix it, says Galbraith, who explained that IGN started looking to make a deal like this nearly a year ago. The idea is just to feed them with the resources they need to keep doing what they're doing. We want to stick to the fundamentals in the short term. We don't want to disrupt anything we're doing right already, added Graham. Because of the shared vision and overlap of our customer bases, there's going to be a lot of opportunities.
Interesting. It sounds weird on paper, but it's also because I think of IGN in a very classic way of what I grew up on reading on IGN and what I worked on at IGN and what I read now on IGN, when in reality, IGN's way bigger and way more widespread than it ever was when I was there.
And that's funny because to me, being on the other side at IGN, this makes so much sense. Yeah. And I think this is a great move. I think it's easy to kind of look at it and be like, oh no, IGN's going to ruin this amazing thing, because Humble Bundle is awesome, and it has been. And it brings awareness to so many amazing indie games that people wouldn't have known otherwise. Sure. And not only awareness, but the ability to get them at cheap prices. And like Humble Bundle, fantastic. Add the charity stuff, even better, right? I feel like IGN has such a great infrastructure for this, and we've seen them, and we've even been there when they've tried to do things, and it was just like kind of a me too, and they didn't have that infrastructure to do the IGN box or whenever they did their extra live streams, and it was just never quite right.
Yeah.
But to just be like, hey, you guys are doing this right, and we just want to push more into that and help from it. I think this is going to be a huge move for both of them in terms of pushing IGN to being more of a widespread place to go for anything you like. Like the idea that the reviews of the games are there right next to, and like that you can link from reviews or from news stories or from whatever to Humble Bundle.
Yeah.
I think that's super awesome.
And see, that's the thing for me. And like, again, it's just old school thinking and who I am. That horrifies me.
Yeah.
And I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. IGN already does it. You know what I mean? Of like
with the Amazon
I read something today and it's like,
stuff.
hey, if you, it was
the way of the world. It's not
WWE.
an ethical thing. in my opinion. I know, and I'm just saying from the other side, it's like, could there be ethical problems? Yes.
Will there be from IGN? No.
There's not going to be. And I think that that's what we need to understand is that this is not going to affect IGN's reviews at all. It's just going to make the user experience better.
Marty Sleva will blow any indie game they put on his desk regardless of if Humble Bundle published it or not. I love you, Marty. That's the one thing. But again, I'm talking in a very old school, the way it is. And not to mention in the way when we were at IGN and we would write stuff, I didn't know what ad was being served. I wasn't putting an Amazon widget in my story or anything. That's all being pulled through API. Job. That's all stuff's happening on its own. So I'm not... It is just that thing of like, it's so weird for me to think that way, but I'm also the guy who shows up on IGN to read the news. I'm like, oh, this video looks interesting. I pop up and it's made in conjunction with whoever. You know what I mean? Like I'm the guy who IGN hires to go co-host the WWE, IGN, esports, Capcom versus Marvel. You know what I mean? Like advertainment is a big thing going on everywhere. That's not what this is. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying as we mature and as advertising grows and as you see .coms fail all the time, they need different ways to make money and do all this different stuff. Not to mention that IGN again is, I would say, a few years away from producing and making movies. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what they're going for, right? IGN is, when we were there, when I was there even, before your time, IGN was such a thing of like, it's all about the .com. We need to bring people to IGN.com, the front page, this, that, and the other. And then it was like, oh man, IGN.com front page traffic is dropping. What do we do? How do you do? And it was that I was there as IGN moved over to be like, no, we need to be everywhere. We need to be where people are. We can't try to make people come to us. And that's when they went to YouTube and took off. And that's, as we left, they went to Snapchat and took off. And IGN's way forward thinking and knows what they're doing. And this isn't them doing something like direct to drive or whatever. Right? Wasn't that a direct to download or whatever, which is a GameSpy thing I know, but a similar thing where it was always like, oh, that's the redheaded stepchild. That's not really what we do.
It's like that. Those were business moves made for numbers. Those were business moves made to be like, look, we have this many more uniques because people were using File Factory to download things. Mm-hmm. That's an old school way of thinking.
Of course.
This to me is forward thinking. This is very much a user focused thing. Are they going to make a lot of money from this? Absolutely. But that's the point, right?
Yeah.
It's something like the best business deals are the ones that benefit both sides of it. And in terms of this, there's three sides. There's IGN, Humble Bundle, and the users. And I think all of them are going to benefit from this. This doesn't hurt anybody.
100%. And I'm not saying... I'm
just like saying my side of it because I've already seen people like talking so much shit about it. It's just
well, of course people are going to talk shit about it.
But it's like you guys, you don't get it. You don't understand what this actually means.
I mean, here's the like. Okay, so let's... we're on the same page, and I want to make sure we're clear to that. Of like, okay, cool. It's not gonna affect reviews. You know what I mean? It's not gonna do something like that. A Humble Bundle published game, if anything, is going to get more scrutiny and have a big thing on it of like, hey, heads up that through a business deal we own the people. Blah blah blah. I think the really good thing here is if you're a game fan, if you love video games, as I know you do by watching this and listening to this. Think about the number of people now that think about. This is something I used to take offense to when I worked there, because people used it in a derogatory fashion, but. IGN is McDonald's. It's the biggest on the block, billions served, people go there. Of those people going there, a lot of them come in and are there just for wikis, are there just for the Madden review, are there for whatever. If you can convert 0.01% of those people to come to Humble Bundle, learn about an indie game, play an indie game, start supporting indie developers the way they support AAA stuff, that's awesome. And that's good for developers.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's good for Per Schneider and his fat wallet.
I love what Pear's doing at IGN.
I fucking love that. I'm joking around.
No, it's not jokes. I'm saying like I think Per Schneider right now at IGN is a fucking beacon of hope and a rock star of what he's doing because he's always been awesome. Yeah. But I think he's really kind of fit into a place now where he's overseeing a lot of this stuff underneath this new VP and making decisions where like this is going to be good because Per gives a fuck. Yeah. Per gives a fuck as a user, as a boss, as a friend, as all of these things. And I think that like, as a gamer, like that's what's important. As a fucking gamer, he cares about this shit. And I think that IGN's made a lot of really good decisions in the last couple, like since we've been gone.
The first decision was to let us get the fuck out. They're like, we can be better than this.
I think it's great. But
it's great. And the other thing too is that the staff gives a fuck too. And that's the other thing of like, Alana's not going to write an article if they're trying to make her shove something down your throat.
Absolutely not. The next news story, Cuphead goes platinum. This comes from Studio MDHR's blog. Hello, friends. Cuphead has only been out for 2 weeks, and we never could have dreamed of the reception we've been receiving from our amazing fans. Today, we wanted to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for your support. We're excited to share that Cuphead has gone platinum with over 1 million units sold. We've worked tirelessly over the past few years to deliver a game that remained true to our vision, and we're both humbled and excited that so many people from around the world are playing Cuphead. It truly makes it all worth it. From all of us at Studio MDHR, thanks again for your support. From Chad and Jaron Moldenhauer over at Studio MDHR.
Good for them.
Congratulations.
What a success story.
If you have not played this game, give it a shot. Even if you don't think it's for you, I honestly say it's worth supporting this and trying it, failing.
I'll download it and for you, Tim.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Having fun with it and seeing if it's for you, because the amount of work put in this game, I know there's work put into every game.
Of course.
Obviously. And shout out to everybody making games. Like, we get to play them, and that's great. Cuphead is unique. Cuphead is something that I can't believe didn't get canceled somewhere along the way.
Of course.
The amount of hours put into that game, I guarantee they did not make the money off of that. Even if this thing's selling super
$1 million
well,
is still a drop in the bucket.
when it comes down to it, it's like these guys, and for how small a team they were, when you have to think about the art and all the other shit and how the hand-drawn animation, like there's enough animation in this to make a feature film of like animated hand-drawn animation, not like computer-generated shit. And it's just like, it's so Herculean an effort must have been put into this. And I just am so proud of them. I'm happy it's doing well, because this is the type of game that I think is a put up or shut up. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, that looks really cool. And then they don't actually play it. Yep. So the fact that people are actually committing to it, and the fact that the game is so fantastic, this is just good. I hope there's DLC. I hope there's a future for this.
Well, the thing too is, like, you know, you figure it's been a long time coming. I remember at IGN when I was doing Up at Noon, and it was before we were like announced to leave, and before, I think it was before we were thinking about leaving, where I ran into a video of this before Xbox got involved and hit them up, and I was like, holy shit, your game's great if you're ever in San Francisco, blah, blah, blah. And so, like, I mean, that was 2014, mid-2014 that I saw this game for the first time, and then it came, everybody fell in love with it. Oh, but it's just boss rush? All right, here's platforming.
That was 2015.
Platforming's not that good. It was silent forever. It was one of the many, many Xbox games of where the fuck is this? And then it finally was announced. It's finally coming out. And it was that question of, is it going to deliver? Is it going to be good? And then does anybody still care? Because so many games do that, where they just burn out their momentum by the time they get out there. And it got there, and people supported it and continue to support it, and that's great. Yeah. Have you beaten it yet? Are you still stuck at Dice Man?
I'm still stuck.
Neil Druckmann beat it last night.
I saw, and that's motivating me to go back, because I saw him tweeting about the progress of him playing through the game, and he was stuck on a boss, and I was like, yeah, I got that shit.
Yeah.
So now that you beat him, I'm like, oh, fuck, I need
you got
to
do it. You got to catch up.
Because I'm finally starting to see people tweet about beating it. Nate Ahern over at Xbox.
And Nate's terrible at games. Tim.
Yes.
I'm gonna get the Cuphead for you this weekend.
I appreciate that.
Well, not just for you, for them. I feel like I owe it to them after everything.
Yeah.
And you have sold me on it.
Good.
Because you are very much like, because it does not look like a game I would like, but you're like, no, it's the most rewarding game I've ever played.
It is, man. It's so good.
That's all well and good. But if I want to know what the new hotness was in the mom and pop digital shops, where would I go?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform is listed by the Kind of Funny Games daily show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. Can I take a time out too to tell you what a great show we're having?
This is
a good show.
This is
a good fucking show right now. Out today, The Evil Within 2, Xbox One, PlayStation 4.
People are into it.
People are into it like Michael Gates, a.k.a. Michelangelo. He wrote into kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, "Heyo, KF crew. First time writing in, though I aim to make it a regular thing. On Wednesday, you guys discussed the awareness/hype for The Evil Within 2. I am here to spread the good word. I played the original when it was launched and have been looking forward to the sequel ever since. I pre-ordered The Evil Within 2 at my local GameStop and was very excited to hear that they had over 100 people pre-ordered in that store. I'm so excited to play it. P.S. It rivals my love for Resident Evil 4, but the controls are modern, so you might enjoy it, Greg. Love all you guys do. Michelangelo. So there you go. We were talking about, like, somebody wrote in, they're worried about, is it going to sell? What's going to happen?
Yeah. I popped in. I was watching Andrew Renee stream it a little bit yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
That's and I wasn't sold on the little slice I saw of her on Twitch.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
So here's what's going to happen, too.
What's going to happen, Greg?
I'm going to hand you my papers at the end, because I got to stream Friday the 13th.
Yeah?
You haven't been taking time codes. I've been kind of doing it, but it's a little wish-washy in there. So if you've caught up to this is my apology for the time codes being like ballparking it. We're around the thing. All right. Next up, Bad Apple Wars on PlayStation Vita. What I'm calling the Evil Within 2 killer. Friday the 13th, the game comes to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One as a hard copy. Oh. Remember, we're streaming it right after this. White Noise 2 comes to PlayStation 4. DK, The Mayor, comes to Xbox One. And then WWE 2K18 Deluxe Edition is available right now on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Out for everybody else on Tuesday. I just won the title in it. No big deal.
No big deal.
Nick Scarpino's reign is dead. I got some new dates for you too, Tim. A Pokken Tournament DX patch is coming soon. Don't have the real date, but coming soon. It'll add team battle matches online, new rewards, and more. Cool. Then... this is stolen, I believe, from GameSpot. Maybe IGN. Ubisoft has released the details about South Park, The Fractured But Whole's $30 season pass. Available on October 17th for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. The season pass will include 3 DLC packs and free day one content. Real quick, and I don't want to be this guy, but if I'm paying $30 for the season pass, I don't think it's free day one content. Because it's behind a $30 price tag. Seems like it's part of the season pass. Just floating that out there.
Yeah.
The first of the DLC packs included with the season pass is Danger Deck, where players have to face the ultimate combat challenge in Dr. Timothy's Danger Deck. Danger Deck will be available to all players as a separate purchase for $6 in December. The second DLC pack is a new story called From Dusk Till Casa Bonita.
Casa Bonita.
Which has you team up with the Coon and Mysterion to defeat a demonic presence at Casa Bonita. It will be available for $12 in 2018. Lastly, the Bring the Crutch add-on pack will feature... Damn it. This is my other thing, too. So on the morning show today, Nick made fun of me for printing these out or whatever. I was like, shut up. And then I picked it up and I was like, I didn't make the text bigger. I should have done that. And I'm like, I'm not going to reprint them because Nick will never let me hear the end of it. Bring the Crunch add-on pack will feature another new story with all new superhero class and will also be available for $12 in 2018.
Casa Bonita. A weird place.
I don't remember what that is. I remember it being a South Park thing, but I don't remember what it is.
So Gia recently went there, which is the reason I know about it, because Gia was like, hey, like I went to this place that supposedly South Park did a thing on, and she told me, and I had no idea. And then she's like, oh, let's YouTube it. She hates South Park. She just can't deal with it. She can't deal with the voices. And I'm just like, I keep trying to push her. Like, I hope that one day she just changes.
Sure.
And fixes all of her problems.
Sure. It starts not eating so healthy.
Well, I think it starts and ends with her dislike of South Park.
Okay, gotcha.
But the Casa Bonita is like this weird restaurant. Like, people describe it as like a shitty Disneyland restaurant.
Okay.
And it's in Boulder, Colorado. And it's just, I don't know. It's just weird. I looked up YouTube videos. There's a waterfall, and people come out and dance and stuff. It's a fucking thing.
South Park's weird for me because I'm super stoked for The Fractured But Whole. Number one, because Stick of Truth, and I'm pretty sure I'm remembering this correctly. That was my game of the year that year. Maybe it wasn't my runner-up, but it was definitely super high on my list for that year. Loved it so much. It was the funniest game I ever played. But I love South Park, but not in the way that I actively watch South Park. Like, I watched a ton of South Park when it was first on. I was like, oh, it's great. And every so often, if something's on, I'll catch it and be like, oh, that's really cool. But it's something I'm able to drop in and drop out of, which I find interesting. And even with Stick of Truth, where you dropped in and like, I'm like, oh, they're referencing like Al Gore or Tom Cruise. And it's like, I wasn't watching those episodes as they came out, but I know those references from it or whatever. And I know that I know Casa Bonita from South Park, but I don't really remember what it's about or how it ever played into it. But it's cool that South Park's there. Gia should like it. This week's episode was a prequel to the video game, which is like, fuck, I gotta go back and watch that.
Yeah.
CP wrote in to kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, hello, Kinda Funny Games Daily. South Park today announced their DLC plans for The Fractured But Whole. What do you lovely folks reckon to them? Is the type of DLC... that first question doesn't make any sense. And then he says, is this the type of DLC you wish for in the first game? Keep fucking that chicken, CP. I don't remember wishing for DLC in the first game. I thought that I enjoyed my time in it, thought it was great, finished it, put it down, and was like, that was a great game. Yeah. And I wasn't really craving it. It'll be interesting to see if this brings me back. The season pass... I don't know if I have down here. It is included with the gold edition of the game.
Okay.
So it's like, I assume when we get codes from Ubisoft, that's usually the version they give us. So it'll be there, easy to jump into. More stories always good. That's what I want.
Well, this sounds great. I like the 3 new stories that sound like standalone little things. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you think you'll jump in and play it?
I mean, depending on how much I like the game.
Sure.
And depending on what's going on
Yeah, what else is competing to?
DLC is always hard because if it takes too long, I just lose interest, and it's hard to make me want to go back into the world. I think Zelda is a good example of it, where it's like, man, I really wish that the Champion's Ballad came out sooner than it did, because that's also kind of going against what I'm saying, because by the time that comes out, I'll be like, oh, it's good to get back into Zelda. But I do think it would have had more of an impact.
Really?
If it had been closer.
This is what I keep saying with Horizon's DLC, is that they let this cook perfectly. Where like it was literally, the game came out, platinumed it, had such a great time with it, and then it was a few months later where I was like, fuck, I could really go for more Horizon. And I feel like it was within a week. They were like, hey, we're putting out a DLC in November. And that sprung up to like, that's a must-play day one, can't wait for it.
Yeah, but I feel like, I guess that's a perfect example of what I'm saying. That moment that you had, that's when it should have been out. Like November.
See, but it's still cooking. It got on my radar, and I'm like that in the same way where we talk about October 27th or October 26th, 27th. Mario
27th.
Mario and Assassins and Wolfenstein. Blah. Mario's the top of the pile. Mario gets played immediately right away. Then for me, it's Assassins. Then probably Wolfenstein. Right. However, the next week when Horizon's DLC hits, that becomes Horizon gets the TV. Mario is my on-the-go game because Mario's gonna go on forever and ever and ever and ever. I'm gonna get all these fucking moons. Not really, but I'm gonna get a lot of moons.
I'm getting all the moons.
It's gonna go on and on and on. So it's like Horizon then jumps to the front of the pile again where I get in. I can't fucking wait. I think they're late. I'm hungry.
You hungry for it?
And we haven't talked about this either. Where are you coming down on the Rock versus Tyrese?
You know, I need to look more into it.
Okay.
Because I showed you the video, and then later it came out that the video is like 5 years old.
Yeah. And it seems like how I would make fun of you if you put out a rap album.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like that was a real thing.
Exactly. So I just hope this doesn't fuck things up.
Well, it's going to. Michelle Rodriguez picks off too. Stifled comes to PlayStation VR on October 31st. That's Halloween. And then Transform Races, the next evolution of stunt racing, is live on GTA Online on Tuesday, October 17th. I was talking to a friend in New York about GTA Online. And I was like, I might want to fuck around with that.
We got to fuck around with it. Like now that we are working on the setup that we have for like the Friday the 13th and shit, we need to get into GTA Online.
Do
like
a heist.
Send Nick out to do all the fucking dumb shit, because like there's so much in that game. Yeah, like it's a little daunting for me. I want someone else to figure it out, like maybe Andy Cortez, and be like, "Hey, dude, figure this shit out," because I just want to be able to just jump in and have us play. But yeah, there's party mode after party mode there.
I need to look into that. And it's exciting that we'd be the first people to do it.
The very first.
That no one else
Funhouse has never done it. Achievement Hunter's never done it.
I've never even heard of Funhouse.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Deals of the day. There's a PlayStation Network flash sale going on right now. You can get games like The Division, Wipeout, Hitman, all at discounted things, so get on that one. And then Ryan wrote in to kindoffunny.com/KFGD and says, I'll keep it quick. Alienation is on sale this week as part of that PSN flash sale. Is it worth the price of admission? Yes. Alienation fucked me and like I ate my saves, I think, because it was the traditional Housemarque crap. But because I had too many friends or whatever. But Alienation's great and you should play it. We love Housemarque. Tim, are you ready for Reader Mail for real?
I'm ready for Reader Mail.
We're going to kick it off on Friday the 13th with Jeremy, a.k.a. Gamer Daddy. Gamer Daddy writes into kindoffunny.com/KFGD and says, Kind of Funny team. When I first found out about the Friday the 13th game almost 2 years ago, I was immediately super pumped and backed it on Kickstarter for $140, which got me the physical edition of the game with some extras. Fast forward a year and a half later, and I receive an email stating that the physical edition has been delayed, but the digital edition was being released. For the inconvenience, I was given a free digital code, which I was fine with. Fast forward to today, Friday the 13th, and the game is now available in stores. I received an email yesterday from Gun Media stating that the backer physical orders are, yet again, delayed until the end of next week. This means that us backers that paid for the game while it was still in the womb have to wait at least another week to receive our physical copies, while anyone else can go to the store and pick it up now. The cough wasn't from Gamer Daddy. That was a great cough, sorry. I understand that it is a smart business move to make sure the game is released today, being Friday the 13th, as well as having a short Halloween season ahead, but where's the loyalty to backers? It may be a smart business move for them, but it feels like a kick in the sack to me. What are your thoughts? Sorry for the long read. I wanted to say much more, but I shortened it down as much as I could. Love the show. Keep up the great work. Gamer Daddy. P.S. To apologize to all backers, we are getting a magnet and sticker for the inconvenience. Yay! Sarcasm. Tim?
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's complicated. I don't know the intimate details of why these decisions were made or whatever, but my gut tells me that they had to look at it and they were like, Friday the 13th would be huge for us to get it out there, and it's going to be valuable. They obviously realize it's an issue by giving a magnet sticker. I understand that's stupid. It is also.
I really want your magnet. If you don't want your magnet, please send it to me. Kind of funny PO box.
It is just a week. If it was months later or like by the end of the year or whatever, it's like that would be a huge issue. I do think that this is a problem, but again, I think that they understand that and they're trying to apologize for it. And I think that you backing the game is showing that you're supporting the game. And it shouldn't have been delayed in the first place, but things happen. You got to go with it. But I think that understanding that they're trying to get this game out to as many people, that's the way to support the game the most, right?
Right.
And when you financially support it, like you are owed something. But I just feel like there's like an understanding of like things changing, and then being transparent about it is what makes it, to me, okay. If they just didn't say shit, that would be kind of fucked up. And I'd be like, well, yeah, fuck that. Don't support them again.
Yeah. Yeah, again, my thought process on Friday the 13th, which is obviously the game I'm in love with, we're streaming it right after this, I didn't back on a Kickstarter. Came up, seemed like a cool idea. The problem with Kickstarter is always, it's another hindsight's 2020. Where I've backed other things on Kickstarter that I never saw stuff from or didn't like the final end product. So it's kind of like that chilling effect where I'm like, I'm good. And so when this comes around, I'm like, that sounds cool. It'll probably be fucked up and not that great. And granted, Friday the 13th is a kind of fucked up game. It's janky here and there. But it's lovable. It's great. I think the team is a great team. I like the way they do communicate. I like things they are doing. You take that risk when you kickstart something, when you back something, when you go through and jump into it. What you're saying makes a lot of sense in the way that you supported this game because you wanted it to be a success. And so now they have to do it this way and get these games out there. The interesting thing that I would have never thought about, but I think about it with our own stuff, right? Because we do Patreon and we have subscribers and we have all these people and we fuck shit up all the time and don't get rewards out in time or do this. But in this video game side of it is the fact that, it's easier now with codes, obviously. But for the longest time when it would be like, oh, hey, PlayStation, can I get this PlayStation 3 game or this PS2 game or this PSP game? They had to make a request to someone else in a warehouse somewhere. It wasn't that the boxes got shipped to them and they put them in the things and sent them out. So my thought here, and this is blind, up until your question, I didn't know. I'm not in this Kickstarter community and I haven't talked to Gunn or Ilphonic about it. My thought process behind this is they have a fulfillment company that is getting their games and might have gotten them for release date today, but there's no way to get those and flip them and put them out in this and get them out any time other than next week. Because you get your shipment today and you start boxing today, you can't get anybody out today. And so then it's like, well, why didn't they get their copies earlier? Why didn't this? Well, you're at the bend in the will of whoever is making the disc, pressing the disc, mailing the disc, and those ones, they're thinking of the millions of units that are being shipped to Target and Walmart and all these different things. So they're coming out when whoever's fulfilling this for them is getting them when the retailers get them, which would be what? Games come out early all the time. Maybe they got them last week, but let's say 2 days ago they got them. So now they're trying to ship them and now they're trying to get them out there. It's just the logistics of this it sounds so simple that you make the game. You must have hundreds of copies of the game at your office when that's not how it is. I know most developers end up going out to buy their games from stores because they don't, when they get a shipment of games to the office, it's often way after the fact that they get them shipped to them. Yeah. So it's this shitty thing of you should be, Jeremy, aka
number one in
Gamer
line.
Daddy, all you Kickstarter backers should be the first people to get this. However, there is the literal logistics of how this is, and then print them earlier, print us a smaller load. That is money, that is time, that is a rush order, that is a special order that then fucks over these people that are a smaller developer and are trying to make this happen and do all these different things. So it totally sucks. But I wouldn't look at it as a kick in the sack. I think from everybody I know that I've talked to that works on this game, it is a passion project. They love it. It is the long nights making it work. It is trying to fix it. It is them being so happy. Like Wes put up today on Twitter, who's like main guy for Friday the 13th, of him going to Target and taking photos of his game on the shelf and that making him tear up, right? Like, these are people that are in it for the right reasons. I don't think they meant to kick you in the sack. I know from the times we've kicked our audience in the sack, we never mean to. We just meant to, give them a love tap, but we kicked them too hard because we fucked something up. We didn't mean to, but It's all about communication. And again, if you don't want your magnet, I do. So send it. So it's a shitty situation, but what are you going to do? Gabe Mullen writes into kindoffunny.com/KFGD and just wanted to throw out there Crazy Justice. It's a third-person shooter coming to the Switch with Battle Royales mode, and as of today, will support cross-platform play between Xbox, PC, and Switch. Although the game looks a lot like Fortnite, I will be excited to have what seems to be a good shooter on Switch, expected to release Q2 of 2018. I saw this, I went, Went and watched the trailer, and I was like, this does look pretty good.
Oh.
This does look like
Crazy Justice. I feel like that's come across my Facebook feed at some point.
Crazy Justice. You love Crazy Justice, right?
I do.
Tim. Where do I want to take you next? Not that you love Crazy Justice. You just love the game. You don't love the game Crazy Justice. You do love Crazy Justice. Like when people get crazy.
Taxi. Different game?
Let's go to Gavin, who has a similar question. It's not Gavin free. Gavin writes in to kindoffunny.com/KFGD and says, "Hi, Greg and Tim. As mentioned on yesterday's show, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and its Battle Royale genre as a whole continues to grow in popularity. With Xbox securing console exclusivity for PUBG, do you think Sony will incorporate a similar mode into any of its upcoming first-party titles? Personally, I could see a Battle Royale style mode being a great fit for the survive and scavenge oriented gameplay of The Last of Us Part 2. Thanks for making my commute amazing. Gavin, Edinburgh, Scotland." It makes sense for The Last of Us. It's not going to happen.
It doesn't make sense for The Last of Us.
Yeah, it does.
I don't think so, because I think that that's so short-sighted of a thought, where it's like, yeah, from a gameplay perspective, sure, PUBG, these Battle Royale modes need large, giant maps.
Right.
And I just don't see that working with something like The Last of Us. Like The Last of Us, it's guided for a reason, you know?
But not the story, like the multiplayer of The Last of Us.
Yeah, how big are those maps?
They weren't huge.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no real solution around that. Like, this Battle Royale thing isn't something you can just shoehorn into any game, like any game mode. It needs to be designed around that, or at the very least, there needs to be a map big enough to handle it. Battlefront. Maybe not even Battlefronts from what I've seen, but like Battlefield, sure, those maps are big, but even those, are they big enough for 100 people? And like, sure, maybe they don't need 100 people.
And
in
that's
the
the thing, is I don't think it needs to be as on the nose as you're thinking about it. Because what I think about it is like, Naughty Dog's clearly wanting to experiment with bigger areas, right? Look at Lost Legacy and the giant place we got to drive around and get tokens and all that shit, right? Like if you were to take a map like that and drop, 20 players into it, granted it'd be a faster game, but that's also what a lot of people might want out of it.
That's Counter-Strike.
Sure.
Right? I think that like Battle Royale it's a huge scale, and I think that's what makes it special. Otherwise, it's just
That's a great point.
deathmatch.
Yeah.
With one life, right?
Yeah.
No respawns.
No, you make a good point.
Destination.
And that's my whole thing is I think it could work with Last of Us. I don't think that's what they'll do. I don't think that's what they're going to push for. Not to mention, and I know people will yell at me for all day long on this one, the fact that PUBG on PS4 is going to beat Last of Us 2 to market. And Naughty Dog's got it. And not PlayStation's got to understand that as well. And it's that then it's what it's going to be, well, how am I going to put a
PUBG's going to beat PlayStation?
PUBG is going to beat Last of Us to PlayStation.
To PlayStation. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
did I fuck that up?
No, you got that right, but like there's the rumors of it being secured as an exclusive on Xbox.
Well, the rumor was that they were trying to extend the exclusivity.
Not
So, like,
pure exclusivity.
No, I mean that would fit into that realm of that rumor of like they're actually going crazy and trying to get the whole thing. But
Yeah.
I digress. Right now, it's just at some point it's coming to PlayStation 4. When, who knows? But I definitely think it'll be next year, probably this time next year, and I think it'll be before Last of Us ever gets here.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
and that's the other thing too. Then is like, and you bring up a good point though of like. You could shoehorn it into Last of Us, sure. And I think you could, I would love to see what Naughty Dog would want to do with that. But it's also the fact that that's not really what Naughty Dog does. And it's not what Sony Santa Monica does. And it's not what Sucker Punch does. And the list goes on of like, why do that? Why would Sony, I don't think you're going to look at one of your first party studios, unless there is a first party studio that's like, hey man, we really want to go in and do something like this where we think we can put an interesting spin on this. But that would be ground level stuff now. And I don't think they're worried about that. I think this is just another great trend in the video game industry, and they're not too sweat about it. Because last time there was a great trend, it was what? Free to play and MOBAs.
Yep.
And PlayStation tried that with Sony San Diego, and a whole bunch of people lost their jobs.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I still hold out that the Metal Gear Survive should be this. And I think like that could change the narrative of that game.
I like how we keep talking about it where I'm not even sure Metal Gear Survive is going to happen.
I don't think Metal Gear Survive is going to make it to market. But
that would be nuts because we've done events at it at E3 and shit. Not that that's unheard of.
We've seen the game, but
I've seen Prey 2 and that didn't happen.
True. But I think Metal Gear and its map and its gameplay, that makes sense.
Okay. Tim, it's time to squad up.
Let's do that.
This is where one of you writes into kindoffunny.com/KFGD. You give me your name, your username, your platform of choice, and why you need help in a video game. I read your name here. The best friends find you. Everyone plays and has a good time. Martin writes in. He needs help on Xbox One. His tag is big space angry space dad 82. No space between dad and 82. Big Angry Dad 82 says, This one is for all you racing geeks out there. I've created an Xbox Live club called Clean Racing League. Ooh. I want to find like-minded players who want good, clean, competitive, and fun racing in many different racing titles on Xbox One. A lot of us are playing Forza Motorsport 7 and Project Cars 2, with them being the latest racing titles. But I am looking for people who like to play older racing games as well as want to build a nice, friendly racing community where we can all get together, run private lobbies, set our own rules, and use the cars/tracks we want without fear of people ramming you off track, cutting corners, or other forms of cheating. If that interests you, hit me up on Xbox Live or search the Club Clean Racing League and ask to join. Big, Angry Dad 82. Tim?
Mm-hmm.
If people are watching live and we screw something up, we ask them to go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong to set the record straight for everyone watching later or listening later. What did we get wrong today?
Matt of Doom says, just another tip, the new PlayStation Slims also have a 5G option. But wired is the way to go.
Yeah, wired is the way to go.
Capitalist Pig. And also, shout out to you, Capitalist Pig. Always on the ball with this.
We talked about this yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. What we talked about yesterday, me and Andrea, and then immediately forgot because I had to do a million other things right, is what I'm thinking about doing is giving him a shot to be the real stat boy. Where we reach out and we figure out how to Skype him in on an iPad and just hold it up here and he just tells us what we got wrong because he's the one who gets it.
He gets it.
Everybody else is
good.
writing in and wanting to argue with me about fucking microtransactions.
He's good. Corey Gasper was the name of the man who recently passed away at BioWare. He was one of the creative directors on Anthem. And Mike Laidlaw's title at BioWare was Senior Creative Director.
I wasn't talking about literally the person who died. Mass Effect Andromeda. I'll figure it out. Mass Effect Andromeda is like the lead guy of that studio left, and he's a friend, and I'm really blanking on his name, and I feel terrible.
Well, there's a long one here. I want to see if it makes sense. I mean, I'm going to read this. I feel like it's stuff that we don't necessarily know because we're stupid.
We're dumb.
Juan M says, for the slow speeds talk, here's a good too long didn't read for a proxy fix. Google it yourself. From Reddit user Tibazak. Quote, non-technical TLDR. The PS4 and the PSN are like two movers. The PS4 tells the PSN, hey, I can only carry this much at a time. And once the PSN has handed the PS4 that much, it has to wait while the PS4 sets it down and then says, okay, I'm ready for more. The problem here is that the PS4 has the carrying capacity, in these cases, of a hypothetical semi-truck, but it's asking for an extremely small and thin plastic bag. Edit, and the reason for that is that the local proxy works is that it reduces the time it takes for the PS4 to set things down and ask for more. It still gets a small plastic bag, but if you're moving 10 of those a minute as opposed to 1 a minute, that's going to significantly speed things up. The PS4 is set up to download things a certain way, one which is slower. It can be worked around with a proxy and a laptop. So yeah, Google
plastic bag
proxy fix PS4 if you are interested in doing that.
Aaron Flynn is who I was looking for, who I've known for a long time, and I apologize for just blanking on your name, Aaron. You're still looking at your wrong.
Yep, sorry.
I'm just letting you know your podcast didn't stop. I'm drawing a Superman symbol while Tim reads. You're wrong. We're getting ready for a Friday the 13th live stream here.
I'm gonna bring this up because I want to talk about it. And also, Titan Matrix, good dude.
Titan Matrix, the homie.
Titan Matrix says, read internally before reading aloud, as you may want to consider it editorializing. I appreciate that because it is, but I want to talk about it. IGN buying Humble Bundle does have an ethical component. While I trust what your opinion is regarding the possible ethical problems not happening because IGN has integrity, the fact that the company now owns a method of selling games, Humble Bundle, doesn't just sell bundles, but they also sell games through their store. Right now, you can buy Evil Within 2. So if IGN gives Evil Within 2 a good review, they as a company are profiting from that review in multiple paths. This puts the company in an ethically questionable place. You're absolutely right.
100%.
Like, there is an ethical question there. I just think that the ethics are not going to be abused. This is not going to affect reviews ever at all. And that's just not how the industry works. Like, you can't be on that large of a scale and do things like that. You just be torn apart.
But we do need to watch. And I know that sounds weird because I love IGN, don't get me wrong. But no one's wrong right now. We need it. You don't think it is. I don't think it would ever happen. I do see why it's a problem. Your problem is correct. Like, we need to. It's all Watch Dogs.
The thing there, it's like, but then it's like, no matter what review the game gets, if all games are being offered to be bought, then it's But
equal. Are all ones doing? He's calling out Evil Within. Like, is every game being sold through Humble Bundle that way? And what he's talking about.
I don't know. That
would be the thing where I don't either, and that's the thing.
I'm thinking it more as like going back to because we were at IGN when we had this conversation, and I was firmly on one side of it, and a lot of people were on another. When the whole e-commerce thing came in, it's like, oh, we're going to put Amazon links everywhere because they profit off the Amazon links. And it's like, if there's Amazon links for everything,
sure,
what does it matter?
And that'll be interesting now. Like on a game like jump ahead a year when this is all set up and everything's going and it's normal. Similar situation with Evil Within 3 happens. Do they put the Amazon link or do they put a Humble Bundle link? Not that matters. It's just an interesting.
I mean, they put the Humble Bundle link.
Yeah, probably.
Right? Because they're a business, and like that's the thing. They're trying to user-friendly experience, give the users a way to buy it. Even if not every game is there, I think my point still stands. If every Humble Bundle thing that is available is tagged in every IGN article that has to do with that thing, it's equal playing ground. I don't like it. Just won't affect
it becomes the exact same thing we do. Hey, we hosted the Final Fantasy event, so Tim's going to review Final Fantasy now. Take his opinion with a grain of salt. You know what to do. You know who he is. When Alana, Dornbush, whoever writes something and mentions this, you know what that is. They're going to mention it too. They should in an editorial disclaimer. Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Titan Matrix, the homie.
Capitalist Pigs also says, Tim briefly mentioned that Cuphead's developers announced that it was going to add platforming to it in 2015. Unfortunately, it was 2016 that did that, not 2015. Small nitpicky detail, but still want to make sure it was added.
This is why it's a pig.
But I was like, that's not what I was saying. I was saying that it had its first blowout reveal, not platforming, Cuphead in general, in 2015 at E3.
Gotcha.
Because you were talking about 2014.
When
you first saw it, but like the world first saw it in 2015.
I did a really good Superman symbol. I'm holding it up to the camera. Proud of that one. Cool Greg likes it too.
There's some good ones today. Palafox says, another thing to note for the PS4 speeds is that if you have a game open that has any kind of online functionality, even if you're not using it, the PS4 caps the download speeds. So if you're playing Call of Duty single player, it will cap the download speed of other games. So if you're not doing it yet, it's better to close all games and leave the PS4 in rest mode. That way you can download at full speed, whatever your connection configuration allows.
I'm just holding up the knife.
Oh.
No, that's a really good one. Because, this is stuff I think about and I fuck around with, but I'm never sure if that's actually what's doing it.
And then the last one, the most important one, Spasmgasm, says, Casa Bonita is located in Lakewood, Colorado, not Boulder. It's located in a strip mall on Colfax Avenue, which was also featured in another episode, the one where Jimmy tries to find a hooker. The food is overpriced, hot-ass garbage, but the joy and wonder it brought to Cartman is accurate, at least for kids. XOXO, Spaz.
Thank you all for contributing to You're Wrong, and thank you for watching another episode of Kinda Funny Games Daily. Remember, each and every week on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about before providing our opinions, thoughts, perspectives, answering your questions, and hanging out with you. We love it. We're glad you love it too. No matter where you get the show, thank you so much. Like, subscribe, share to the rest of them. Maybe go to Patreon. No big deal. Monday, Andrea Renee returns to the show to host with me and tell me what Tulsa was like.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
I'm not on Monday. I'm usually Mondays.
No, I think, it's because, we're moving it around.
Okay.
We're still talking to other people about coming in.
I'm in for anything.
I know. You got somewhere to be? You got nowhere to be.
I'm just here for the ride.
Oh, what a good guy. And now you're going to go. Again, time codes were not good today. I apologize. They're going to be, they are what they are.
Okay.
There you go. Try to make it happen. Oh, here's another page with time codes on it too. So enjoy that. Until next time, well, remember, if you're live, we're going to stream Friday the 13th right after this. I'm going to shove some pizza in my face. But until next time, Cool Greg's looking at me all scared like.
Upload this?
Yeah, we're going to upload it.
We'll
figure that out in a second. If we go away, it's because we're uploading the show, and then we'll come back. Wait, we'll talk to Joey, though. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.